words of famous author and director John le Carre, home is where you go when you run out of homes. But what do you do when you run out of homes? Well, according to the 2014 Louisville census, approximately 14% of Louisville's homeless population had decreased. And that's wonderful. It's a great number when you're considering a population of nearly 1 million people. However, it is unfortunate that in the 2015 Louisville census, approximately 7,300 people are still without permanent housing. 7,300. Now, I was fortunate enough to have grown up in a nice neighborhood. I had always had a roof over my head and a family that loved me. So I wasn't necessarily exposed to the plight of the homeless. That was until my high school years when I had to complete service hours in order to graduate. From a friend of mine, I was recommended a wonderful organization called Wayside Christian Mission and what they do to help in this plight of the homeless. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to explore this issue with you and tell you what you can do to help through Wayside. When touching on the issue of homelessness, many people would look to the root and say, what's the cause of this problem? Why are so many homeless? Many turn to the stereotype that a majority of homeless civilians are caused by a mental illness. However, this is not the case, as we see in a survey conducted by the National Coalition for the Homeless that only approximately 16% of the homeless residents suffer from a mental instability. That being the case, we can put this rumor to rest. Many can come forth and help the homeless without feeling uncomfortable. It even goes farther when the National Coalition of Homeless Veterans stated that approximately 11% of the homeless population comprises of veterans suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. Yes, these are the very men and women who are sacrificing their lives for our country, living on the streets. Looking at this issue on a global scale, we see this number coming from a website called homelessworldcup.org, stating that approximately 1.6 billion people are without permanent housing or adequate housing. Now that's a world population of 8 billion people, and 1.6 of them are without permanent housing. It's amazing. Nationwide, this same number comes from that website, that on a single survey conducted in January 2013, approximately 610,000 Americans were experiencing homelessness in a single night. That's over 500,000 Americans. This is the United States. This is not a third world country we're speaking on. This is our home country. Finally, we look at this issue on a citywide scale here in Louisville. I've taken this chart here from Wayside Christian Mission's website, and speaking back on the root of the issue, you can see many homeless residents are caused by such disabilities. Over 3,000. Nearly 900 homeless residents who are victims of domestic violence. And yes, you've probably noticed it up there too, that the only increasing number is over 1,000 young citizens, unaccompanied youth. My grandmother, who is sitting with us today, had always told me in my youth that the caliber of a nation is derived by how it treats its most vulnerable civilians, be it its children and the elderly. So to see that the only number on the increase is of homeless children, it speaks volumes. Luckily, being the wonderful city we are, we offer a great solution. Through Wayside Christian Mission, you too can volunteer your time in one of Wayside's several select opportunities. I myself had volunteered in Wayside's kitchen under a man named Andre. He was their head chef, very polite man, showed me the ropes of working in a kitchen, told me how to interact with the guests. There was many a bless you and a thank you. You're doing the right thing. And it was humbling. It was so humbling, but it was so rewarding. You may also choose to take your time and volunteer one of your life skills, being that the homeless population is trying to get back on their feet into a working environment. Many are unable to, considering they don't know what they're doing. If you have a skill you'd like to teach, by all means, take it to Wayside, teach a class. Lastly, you may also choose to volunteer in one of their Samaritan Patrol opportunities. Yes, these men and women caravan throughout Louisville to one of the denser homeless populations, offering them food, care packages, emergency first aid, the veritable superheroes of Louisville, if you will. Now, if you don't like to volunteer your time, you may volunteer your money at one of Wayside's select thrift store locations. There are 2 of them, one on Galeen Drive, one on Poplar Level Road. I've been on the Poplar Level Road location, and the selection there is very nice. It's akin to what you would find at a Goodwill. So, in turn, the proceeds go to Wayside. You buy what you need, Wayside gets the funds that they need. Lastly, a wonderful program that Wayside offers is something called the Hotel Louisville. An article written in the Huffington Post detailed this, saying that in 2009, Wayside Christian Mission bought Wayside's Hotel Louisville. They had turned it into a hotel/homeless shelter and rehabilitation program. What this program offers is that it takes homeless addicts, rehabilitates them, and gets them back on their feet, off the streets, in a working environment where they work for the hotel. It's unique, and it's among one of its only kind in the country. But no better know this rehabilitation program than a woman named Charity. In the far left of this photo, you see this woman, and her name is Charity. Charity, unfortunately, suffered from an addiction years ago, so very much so that one night she found herself at Wayside's doorstep without any help. Luckily, in their rehabilitation program, she now works at a hospital in downtown Los Angeles, California, supporting her family. Her 20-year-old daughter, this woman on the right of the photo, named Naisha, stepped forward saying, "Thank you, Wayside. Thank you for giving me back the mother that I've been looking for so many years." And that's a powerful image. It's beautiful. So, in conclusion, tonight I've shared with you this plight of the homeless, how far this issue reaches, and I've told you what you can do about it. You can go to Wayside Christian Mission's website, right up on the board. You can volunteer your time, volunteer your money at one of their select locations, and do some good. I urge you, ladies and gentlemen, join me in becoming a part of this solution. And I'll end on a note tonight today, speaking how wonderful it is that no one need wait a single moment before starting to improve the world. And that's by Miss Anne Frank. Thank you very much.